Next on WVUA 23 News, a cool down is coming our way. More details in a little bit.
And one local church is collecting relief donations for victims of Hurricane Helene. What items are needed and where you can donate? And the Children's Hands-On Museum hosted an eventful fundraiser today. What activities were available for children? WVUA 23 News starts right now.
This is WVUA 23 News at 10.
And we're glad you're with us. I'm Laura Vale, topping our news tonight. Another shooting in West Alabama has left one man with life-threatening injuries. Tuscaloosa Violent Crimes responded to a shooting that took place early this morning at Creekwood Village Apartments. Captain Marty Sellers reported one man was shot multiple times and is being treated for life-threatening injuries. No new information is available as this is a developing story. Friday, the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency Highway Patrol Division attempted to stop a driver in Autauga County when a pursuit ended and a standoff ensued. Troopers attempted to stop a Mercedes-Benz on Interstate 65 near the 170-mile marker. The driver failed to stop when the pursuit began. The chase ended near the 192-mile marker in the northbound lane when a standoff took off between the driver and law enforcement, resulting in an arrest. Authorities later identified 39-year-old Shoma Agurd of Lawrenceville, Georgia. Agurd was arrested and charged with a felony and was booked at the Montgomery County Jail. Agurd also has warrants through Bel Air Police Department in Texas for aggravated assault with a gun and aggravated assault against a police officer. Nothing further is available as the investigation is ongoing. Molly Starr is in for a first look at the weather. Molly, will the rest of this week be rain-free?
Hey Laura, good news. We have no rain in sight. Now, I mentioned last night there was a tiny little bit of chance around midnight tonight, but that is no longer on the models. So we are dry moving all the way into next weekend. The only big news in weather right now is the cold front we have coming through, starting off slowly tomorrow, a little bit more Tuesday and Wednesday being our coldest day. But this is just the beginning of a little taste of fall. It might be time to move those numbers, and I'll have more details on your forecast and what the rest of your week will look like in just a little bit.
Hurricane Helene devastated North Carolina just 3 weeks ago, and many volunteers across the U.S. are taking donations, including Northport. WVUA 23's Callie Cassidy met up with one local church for more information on what supplies is needed. Callie?
Laura, with the aftermath of Hurricane Helene in North Carolina, a church in Northport is filling up a semi-truck of donations to send off.
Christ Harbor Church is accepting donations to put in a semi-truck to North Carolina. The donations are being taken to Burnsville, North Carolina. The church says they are accepting items like diapers, formula, water, hygiene kits, toiletry items, and hardware items like shovels and rakes. Jones Logistics supplied the trailer to the church to fill it fully. Due to the amount of volunteers and donations being brought into North Carolina, Pastor Jonathan Lawson said they are trying to find the right place for the truck.
We're working with local churches and local church associations to try to find just a location, an exact location to be able to drop the trailer. But we want to get it up there as soon as we can so that the people who are in need can get those supplies.
Helene hit North Carolina at the end of September as a Category 4 hurricane. The storm destroyed many roads and homes, requiring relief aid and supplies for victims. Lawson said seeing the amount of donations and support is special.
It's been very organic, and it's just I've loved that because it's just neighbors helping neighbors. It's not anything very organized or contrived. It's just we want to do something. Somebody feels the impulse to do something, and we're able to come together and work together to do it. So,
if you would like to donate, you can drop off your items at Christ Harbor Church during their designated donation hours. Laura.
President Biden is expected to announce $600 million for electric grids today. The White House says the funding is a long-term investment as storms continue to batter the U.S. Currently, 1.5 million people are without power after the storms. Biden is once again touring hurricane damage in Florida. Earlier this month, Biden toured damage from Hurricane Helene in Florida's Big Bend region. On Sunday, he was at the Tampa-St. Petersburg region touring damage from Hurricane Milton. Brian Abel has the latest.
President Joe Biden making yet another trip to hurricane damaged communities in Florida.
I'm here in Florida for the second time in 2 weeks and to survey the damage from another catastrophic storm, Hurricane Milton.
Biden visited hard-hit St. Petersburg on Sunday and met with residents and first responders. It comes just 10 days after the president was in Florida's Big Bend region surveying the damage caused by Hurricane Helene. He encouraged those affected by the storms and saying it's time to put politics aside.
In moments like this, we come together to take care of each other, not as Democrats or Republicans, but as Americans.
Biden has frequently been in touch with Republican leaders, including the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis. The visit comes as the president and other leaders urge Congress to pass additional funding for disaster relief programs.
We need Congress to act swiftly to fund FEMA and specifically its disaster relief fund because hurricane season is not over.
Biden also announced a major funding to help those impacted by the storms.
Today, I'm proud to announce $612 million to 6 new cutting-edge projects to support communities impacted by Hurricane Helene and Milton.
That funding will be used to help enhance and upgrade the nation's power grid. Nearly 1 million people across Florida still remain without power. Brian Abel reporting.
The president and other leaders have urged Congress to work to pass additional funding for disaster relief programs. If you are searching for a healthcare provider, one option may be as close as your own neighborhood. Today's Health Matters has more.
Hello, I'm Dr. Richard Friend. Taking control of and improving your health requires the most relevant and timely health information available. And University Medical Center is here to help with facts and advice about important health topics that you care about. We know that your health matters.
UMC Northport opened in January of 2023, and we provide family medicine services for pediatrics through adults. We also provide internal medicine services to patients, as well as neurology, social services, and OB services. UMC Northport provides a continuum of family practice and internal medicine care. So we like to be your primary care physicians, not just your urgent care physician. We want to take care of you during your sick days and in your well days. We want to do preventative health care for you so that we can make sure we are meeting all of your prevention for cancer screenings and take care of you throughout your lifetime.
You can hear the entire interview by visiting our website at umc.ua.edu. And for all your primary health care needs, visit University Medical Center with locations in Tuscaloosa, Northport, Demopolis, Fayette, Carrollton, and Livingston. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on Health Matters.
The Children's Hands-On Museum hosted their Family Fund Day today. CHOM has 2 annual fundraisers a year, one in the spring and one in the fall. The museum offered a free afternoon of play for children to always show the importance of hands-on playing time as a kid. Kids were able to go to many different stations and learn things like milking cows, cooking, fishing, and just to have fun. CHOM will transition to Ignite and be in the Sabin Center in the future.
There's all types of stations, and we listen, I could go on and on about the 3 floors of activities that we have for kids, but the biggest thing is for you all to come and see. That's what we're here for today. The doors are open, completely free for people to just come, see, learn, play.
You can go to chomonline.org for more information and to see different activities for kids. Several voter deadlines are quickly approaching ahead of the 2024 election. What important details you need to know before November 5th? And an ongoing investigation after a man was arrested at former President Donald Trump's rally. Why he was arrested? We'll have more details after this. Governor Kay Ivey has ordered flags be flown at half-staff in Tuscaloosa County on Monday, October 14th, to honor Tuscaloosa County Deputy Sheriff Tim Johns, who passed October 8th. 62-year-old Deputy Tim Johns served as Brookwood High School's resource officer for 7 years and with the Sheriff's Office 26 years. Deputy John was highly esteemed by his community and colleagues and by the students and staff at Brookwood, where he was recently honored as Homecoming Parade Marshal. Flags within Tuscaloosa County may be flown at half-staff from sunrise until sunset on Monday. Alabama's Secretary of State Wes Allen wants to remind Alabamians to register to vote before the upcoming general election. Alabama has more than 3 million registered voters, but often the state sees abysmal voter turnout. As the general election approaches, there are some important deadlines to remember. In-person voter registration ends on October 21st at the close of business. The last day to apply for an application for an absentee ballot is October 29th by mail and October 31st in person. November 4th is the last day to return an absentee ballot in person, and noon November 5th is the deadline for mailed absentee ballots. U.S. Congresswoman Terry Sewell went out on her campaign trail today. Sewell is representing Alabama's 7th District. She went by McKenzie Court, Cherry Stone, the Glens, Jackson Apartments, and more to see the residents of Tuscaloosa. She urged people to vote in the upcoming election, and if you haven't already registered to vote, to do so now. She also went and talked to people of the West Side community in Tuscaloosa to vote for Vice President Kamala Harris in the upcoming election. And Robin Littaker is Sewell's opponent for Alabama's District 7. Littaker was in the public education system for 32 years and a former principal and teacher in Mobile and Hoover City schools. She also founded the Alabama Conference of Educators and served as president and executive director. In 1997, she was honored as Alabama's Teacher of the Year. While she was not out campaigning today like Sewell, you can go to her website, littaker.com, and see her events and where she will be next. And ahead of the November presidential election, Republicans are challenging all aspects of the mail-in voting in battleground states. Mail-in and absentee voting reached new levels in 2020 during the pandemic. Now, a wave of lawsuits over the popular vote casting method is laying the groundwork for potential challenges to the election's outcome. Several key swing states are still seeing a high volume of mail-in and absentee voting, prompting multiple Republican lawsuits. We are learning more about a man arrested near former President Donald Trump's campaign rally in Coachella, California. The event took place on Saturday. The Riverside County Sheriff's Department says deputies arrested 49-year-old Vim Miller of Las Vegas. Investigators say Miller was sitting in an SUV at a checkpoint near the rally. They say he had illegal weapons on him that included a loaded handgun, a shotgun, and a high-capacity magazine. Authorities detained Miller and he was jailed, but he later posted $5,000 bail and walked free. The Sheriff's Department is still investigating the incident.
What we do know is he showed up with multiple passports with different names, an unregistered vehicle with fake license plate, and loaded firearms.
Sheriff Bianco says the vehicle was unregistered and the license plate was homemade and indicative of a group of individuals that claim to be sovereign citizens.
Well, still ahead, we've got a dry week, a cool week, and more to find out after the break. Well, if you're out and about tonight, you might see something pretty cool. We have a comet out there in the sky that's passing by Earth, and a few hours ago, it was along the horizon. It's really hard to see with a naked eye. However, if you've got a camera, do some Googling, it'll teach you how to see it. But as we move throughout tonight and the next few days, that comet will appear higher in the sky, making it appear a little bit brighter because the upper atmosphere will be a little bit darker, easier to see. But that's just a fun little fact. We're taking a look from our Demopolis camera where temperature is currently 64, wind is calm, and it's going to be a great night. Well, what are our other temperatures looking like right now? We've got 63 in Jasper, 63 in Talladega, Montgomery 68, and 67 here in Tuscaloosa. Well, as we move through the rest of our night, we'll cool down. Not as much as we saw last night or even the night before. We'll only go about a few more degrees, 57 being our low for the evening. Now, it could be a little more, a little less, depending on where in central Alabama you are. But the biggest news with this is we're cooling down just a little bit. It's still in those 50s. We've got those clear skies continuing, and we'll see the sun again tomorrow warming back up. But we're not warming up just as much. So let's take a look at our Doppler radar. We have this ground clutter we are always seeing at this time of night. There is no rain out there. There's not even a cloud out there, so don't worry about that. Don't need that umbrella, especially if you're planning on dropping off the kiddos to school. Monday morning, we've got that off to school forecast. Temperatures, the chilly 50s, maybe 60, depending on what time they're going to school. Cooler temps, not a cloud in the sky, and again, we'll see that in the afternoon hours as you're picking them up. We'll see around 77 for our high tomorrow. Well, the biggest news in weather right now in Alabama is this cold front we have coming through. We'll have that 77-ish tomorrow, a little bit cooler to the mid-70s on Tuesday. Wednesday, hopefully we're only seeing those upper 60s. But Thursday, it's looking like it's time to bring all of our numbers down from the summer and put those winter temperatures in there because we're off the grid for our lowers temperatures. We're seeing 40s for our lows. And let's take a look at that extended forecast. We've got, again, just temperatures cooling off. Now, by Thursday, Friday, we could be warming back up slightly. We've got those mid-70s again. Going into late next week and into the weekend, we've got our lows coming up. So we're getting a little taste of fall, right, Laura? Yeah. And we've got the sun shining, so it might warm up, it might stay cool. It's a weird time of year where we don't have clouds, and I'm ready for the fall.
I am too. I need so much cool weather. Oh my
I just need it cooler.
All right, well, sports anchor Stu McCann is in for a look at sports.
Hey Laura, hey Molly, coming up, Alabama soccer breaks into the SEC win column, and a win is a win even if it didn't come pretty or easy. Find out some of the stuff that Bama players took away from beating South Carolina. That's next.
guy wants to go out there. He's had a great season so far. He's someone we got a lot of confidence in, and most people would look at it as an easy pick, but you got to still be there and you still got to make the play. So definitely proud of the fight that he had and wanting to be back out there, considering he did go down earlier in the game.
That is Alabama head coach Kalen DeBoer talking about Damani Jackson's game-sealing interception while playing hurt. Jackson left with an injury in the first half. He even got carted to go to the locker room, but he returned, he got back on the field and made his presence felt at the end. That's how you do it. The new Associated Press Top 25 is out, and Alabama holds at number 7. Next week's opponent, Tennessee, isn't as lucky. The Vols fall 3 spots to number 11 after needing overtime to beat Florida. They're going to be ramped up for next week. Over the last 3 years, Kalen DeBoer has coached in 47 games. 23 of those have been one-score games, including 3 of the first 6 with the Crimson Tide. DeBoer said at this point, Alabama is used to it. And before fans rail against the trend of this is concerning, you can't play like that, know that DeBoer is now 103-13 after its narrow 27-25 win over South Carolina. Neither side of the ball was perfect. South Carolina outgained Alabama, and the Tide lost the time of possession by over 3 minutes. The Tide only had 12 points going into the fourth quarter, and quarterback Jalen Milroe threw 2 interceptions and was called for intentional grounding in the end zone. But that doesn't matter. Alabama got its win, and its resiliency cannot be questioned.
I mean, we're Bama, and that's what we do, just keep on fighting. And I mean, we're Alabama, like I said, and we always face adversity every day, even in practice. So that's the biggest piece. And, just having poise in those moments and really being familiar that, we've been in those type of moments before and, just keep on fighting.
The first sign of improvement is acknowledging that you need to work hard and acknowledging that you need to improve. And so that's what we have in our locker room is guys that's, that's always looking to get better. We have a long season ahead of us. The mission is still the mission, and all our goals are still the goals. Now it's all about following those, all of our goals by how hard we work and the mindset that we have.
Last week, Derrick Henry eclipsed 10,000 yards and 100 touchdowns for his 9-year NFL career. And today, we got reminded the King is keeping his magical season rolling. He's not slowing down a bit. The 4-time Pro Bowl running back finished with 132 yards and 24 carries and 2 touchdowns in Baltimore's 30-23 win over Washington. Henry already has 700 yards and 9 touchdowns this season, stats that grow week after week after week. The Terminator, Will Anderson, had his best game as a pro. He finished with 3 sacks and this pass deflection that turned into an interception as Houston routs New England 41-21. That defense is something for DeMarco Ryans, the former Alabama linebacker. The Lions, Brian Branch had 2 interceptions and a forced fumble and a blowout over the Cowboys in 4 games. Branch has 8 pass deflections and 3 interceptions. He and Xavier McKinney are playing unreal in the defensive backfield. And the Steelers' Najee Harris went over 100 yards for the first time this season in a win over the Las Vegas Raiders. Harris finished with 106 yards and a touchdown as Pittsburgh improves to 4-2 with a 32-13 win. Alabama soccer hosts Texas A&M, still searching for its first victory in the SEC play. They're 0-1-5 coming into tonight. Defense is the main player for both the Aggies and the Crimson Tide. Both have opportunities, nothing doing. Alabama keeper Ellie Lanny, a big save early on. 21st minute of the match, we get something. The Crimson Tide's Nadia Ramadan sets up Juliana Paul, and she does not miss as Alabama takes a 1-0 lead. The Crimson Tide outshot Texas A&M 21-12, and Lanny and the defense stepped up in every single situation. They made it count. Alabama scores its first SEC victory 1-0 and is now 1-1-5 in conference play. On Friday, some of the local Tuscaloosa media got a look at the new Crimson Reserve golf facility and for the UA men's and women's golf teams. The $47 million project is high-tech to say the least. Hitting bays with swing technology and mechanical putting greens that can be contoured to different slope effects. But as cool as those gadgets are, the location is the prime time. Crimson Reserve is on Jack Werner Parkway, half a mile from the edge of campus. Director of Athletics Greg Burns says that as big a selling point as you'll find is the location.
One of the things, and the coaches know this, a lot of who we compete against have to drive long distances to get where they're going, and to have it be literally, I'm 7 minutes late. You know when I left the office, 3:01. So it's not very far from the office.
It's unreal. I mean, your home course is practically in your backyard. No colleges can say that, and that's Alabama. That's what they say.
All right, well, thank you, Stu, and we'll be right back. All right, Stu, well, any look at sports?
Do you want me to do weather? I cannot do this. Molly is by far the person to talk about that. I cannot.
You can do it.
No.
It's got a cool down.
No
and
rain.
The sun shining.
Well, you know what? That's my dream. I'm sure that I would say something that would mess everything up.
Really
I can say it's warmer going to be next weekend in time for Alabama, Tennessee, because things are heating up. I don't care. It's a win by Alabama, but they're still heating up. The talk is keep talking. I heard somebody say in the past 2 weeks, has there ever been a team that has shifted so much from a win over Georgia to a loss to Vanderbilt to a win over South Carolina, but not looking the way that anybody wanted it to be?
Florida almost beating Tennessee.
And Tennessee did the same thing last night. So,
you never know.
You know what? A short 6 days away.
It is. All right. Well, thank you. That's our short show tonight. Have a great night.